On this episode, Verizon issues fighting words to Sigfox, and we talk about what all these wire colors mean. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 10 of DailyIoT. We're having a great week. This is 3 episodes. I'm loving it. Lots of things are happening in the world of IoT, so I got to keep making episodes. Got to get the important news out. And so first up today, I want to talk about news coming out of Verizon. They have announced that they are going to be enabling their Cat M1 on their LTE network. Now, what is Cat M1? This refers to a family of devices that are low power, low throughput, which allows for extended battery life. This is very similar to a company that I have talked a lot about on past episodes, which is Sigfox. This notion that we don't need gigabit or megabit throughput on Internet of Things devices. Some things like sensors only need a very small data transfer. They need to be low power, have years of battery life, and that's what Verizon is adding onto their LTE network. And this is going to be a direct competitor to companies like Sigfox. Sigfox is looking to be in 100 US cities by the end of the year, and Verizon is saying that they would like to have this up and going on their network also by the end of the year timeframe. And so this is interesting news for Internet of Things. You know, we've been dealing with Wi-Fi. Things like the Electron have come out and gotten us onto the cell network, but having an actual dedicated way to put Internet of Things devices onto the cell network is very interesting. I assume other companies are going to follow suit. AT&T has announced that they're going to start doing a similar rollout on their network in select cities by the end of the year also. And so the Internet of Things continues to roll forth. This is big news from Verizon. And they're not shying away of what they're doing here. I want to read the quote here. It says, we are also taking direct aim at emerging low-power wireless access solutions, which have entered the US market but do not offer the same level of scale, coverage, and security as LTE. I mean, that's Verizon trying to like punch Sigfox right in the face and saying like, this is our country and we're gonna dominate the network. Now, we'll see how that plays out. I think there's room for everybody. IoT is going to be a billion device industry in years to come, but it's nice to have options. So exciting things happening coming out of Verizon. We'll keep an eye on it. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about, again, I want to throw some practical knowledge in here in these episodes to help you out. And what I want to talk about really quick today is wire coloring. If you're new to electronics and making and Internet of Things, you may have noticed that there are some wiring color standards, but mostly there's not. And so I just wanted to cover really quick what really the true only standard is that you'll find is when you see a project that has different colored wires going everywhere, the first thing that you'll learn is that red and black are the most common. We'll call it a standard. It's not like an official standard, but red is the positive supply, whether that's 3.3 volts or 5 volts, whatever positive on the circuit is, will be the red wire. Black will be ground wires. And so if you see somebody who's breadboarded a project up, who's done these before, normally you can pick out the red and black wires as the power lines, positive and ground. For instance, this is a AAA battery holder, and it's got 2 wires coming off of it. Now you could just look at the little illustrations and see which sides connected to which color, or you could just know the red's going to be positive when I put my batteries in here and the black is going to be negative or ground. So that is a pretty standard color code in wires. The only real other standard that I've seen is on things like servos. This is a parallax servo, and it's got a cable coming off of it that's got a black, red, and a white wire on it. Now we just covered black's going to be ground, red's going to be the 5 volts, this is a 5 volt servo, and white is going to be the PWM, it's going to be the signal wire. And so that's another common, like I said, I'm going to say standard in hashtags, not hashtag, standard in quotes because it's a jungle out there in the Internet of Things and people doing whatever they want sometimes. And so this is pretty reliable, but this does not ever replace checking it with a meter. If you see red and black, somebody might have just been like, I don't know, red, that sounds like a good color to use for ground. especially because so many people are getting into the space. And so if you're not sure, you have doubts, always check it with a meter. But here's a GPS unit. Again, it's got a little JST connector soldered onto it. It's got red, black, and white. Again, red power, black ground. White is the data line in this case, coming off the module. USB also has some standard. It uses a differential pair for the data lines, and those are normally white and green. That's a common thing. Other than that, you'll see sort of these wires like this. You're not going to be able to see it really well on my camera there, but this ribbon cable has purple, gray, white, black, brown, red, orange. They'll have yellow, blue, green. After the standard black and red, and again, white for like servos and things like that, there's not really a standard per se. So it's hard to look at somebody's circuit and say, oh, the yellow, that probably means it's the data line for an SPI bus. That doesn't really exist. And so what I recommend is, outside of those standard, try to always stick to that black and red standard for ground for black, red for positive. And other than that, just find a system that works for you. I like to use certain colors for SPI and I2C to help me when I have complicated circuits. I'll reach into my drawer of goodies here real quick. This is a circuit I built for a Raspberry Pi course that I did a while back, and I try to use some standard colors there to help me to follow, because you can get some complicated circuits on breadboards once you throw a couple of modules on there. So anyway, that's just a very quick tip if you're just getting started, sort of the common colors for wires in Internet of Things projects. Okay, wanted to give a shout out to Edward White, who reached out to me. I will be getting that in the mail for you tomorrow, Edward's shipping off that particle core kit to you. And then still waiting to hear from Everton. I'm gonna give him one more week. And then we're just gonna draw another name at random from commenters over the last few episodes and send that out in the mail. Can't think if there's anything else I wanted to cover today. I think that's it. I just really appreciate everybody watching. It really means a lot. If there's something particular that you would like me to talk about briefly, again, I don't want to do deep dives on these. These are meant to be more quick pro tip or intro type topics. But if there's something that you have a question about or you'd like to see, please hit me up down below in the comments. I would be happy to address those. I love hearing from you guys, and I appreciate everybody watching. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you for watching Daily IoT, the show where together we're learning all about the Internet of Things, one day at a time.